Hello everybody, it's Dana Sullivan, the Stampin' Chick, here with another Make It Monday! How are you today, my friends? I hope you had a fantastic weekend. It's getting hot here in East Tennessee, which is wonderful because that means I'm spending more time in the studio getting some work done. All right, let me get this situated right quick. Now, if you're coming on, be sure to say hello. I enjoy spending time with you guys and chatting with you as well. So today's card is all about You're a Peach product collection. And let me just get my catalog here so that I can show you how absolutely fantastic this collection is. I am super excited about it because it's probably one of my favorite ones out of the new catalog. It is so cute. I love it. I love the distinctive stamping. It's two-step as well. Well, sort of two-step. It has layers that go together anyway. This goes on here, the flower blooms, the peach and the stem. Anyway, it's just as cute as it can possibly be, and the colors are so pretty. So anyway, I'm going to be using a lot of the products in the suite today. I'm using the You're a Peach Designer Series paper, as you can see in the background here. And what's really cool about this paper is that the front and the back coordinate together, which doesn't always happen. But when it does, it's a fantastic thing because, as you can see, I have the peach backgrounds, and then I also have the blue polka dotted background, and it matches perfectly, and it's from the same sheet of paper, so I only have to cut into one piece, so that's awesome. Then I'm using the pale papaya and white, let's see, it's woven ribbon. Pale papaya and white woven ribbon, that's what it is. This stuff is really nice. It's what, half an inch or 5/8 of an inch? It's half an inch. And it ties beautifully. It's a fabulous ribbon all the way around. It makes beautiful bows, and it matches this collection perfectly. So as you can see there, it's just a really pretty bow, and it makes nice knots. So this is great stuff. And so we're going to use this. And then we're going to use a masking technique inside the card, and I'm just going to do that to show you again how to mask if you don't already know, and then I'm going to show you how I colored my peach so that it has a more realistic look to it, because this is obviously not just one color. So you don't want to do just one color with the peach because it'll be very one-dimensional looking, even with the distinctive texturing on it. So I'll show you how to give it some awesome color, and it's really easy to do. So okay, here's what we're going to need. Obviously we're going to need that ribbon. You're going to need about 15 inches of it. Hello everybody, I see folks are coming in and saying hi. How are you? All right, I've got a basic white envelope, thick basic white cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. This is a standard A2 size card base. I have a piece of 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch of that peachy designer series paper, and as you can see, the back side of it has those polka dots, so it's so cute. And I did 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 because I really didn't want a whole lot of a border, so it's going to be just a very nice clean edge, and that'll look very nice. So we'll have that. And then I have another strip of that same piece of paper that's cut at 1 inch by 5 3/8 of an inch. And as you guessed, it's going to go right about there. So we've got that. And then I have taken advantage of the color and contour bundle that I've received, the Scalloped Contours dies. So stinking cute. Listen, I love the flower stamps because they're a really fine line drawn stamp set, which I think is fabulous. This is actually two-step stamping, so the flowers color in the flowers on the lines, this piece colors in the flower bud, this flower colors in the flower line. So this is actually a true two-step stamp set, and then it has some very pretty sentiments that are handwritten, so they're very nice, and this goes perfectly with so many different things. I've already used it a few times, and I know you guys love it, but the dies are the star of the show today because these framelits are spectacular. I love them. And we're going to be using this one right here. So it's the middle of the frames, middle-sized, I should say. And we're cutting that out of basic white cardstock. So that's where I'm getting that scalloped frame. And it's just going to go right about there. And then I have a couple of little scraps. I've got 1/2 inch by 2 1/4 inches for both pieces. This is balmy blue and this is basic white, and it's going to be for our sentiment. We're going to double them up a little bit so we have a nice little shadowy area, and it'll go right about there. Then, to save us a little bit of time, I've already stamped and die cut the leaf and stem cluster and the cluster of smaller peaches. However, I am going to show you how I stamped the peaches to get all of that beautiful color to really make them look more realistic. Okay, so don't worry, I will show you how I did that, but I wanted to get these stamped and die cut for time's sake so that we don't run too long. Okay, now for inks, we're going to be using quite a few, and I'm also going to be using some sponge daubers. So that's how we're going to get this incredible color coordination going on here with the peach. So you're going to need Pale Papaya, Bumblebee, Calypso Coral, and all three of these are what we use for the peach to get the color. And then we're using Pear Pizzazz for the greenery. And of course, Balmy Blue for the sentiments. So I'm going to set the Balmy Blue off to the side, and the pear, well, I'll set them all off to the side, but I'll be showing you how to do the peaches here in just a moment, okay? Alright, so let's go ahead and get started putting this card together because I do have most of it already stamped. And the first thing that we're going to do, pull all this stuff out of the way and we're going to put this piece down. So I'm just going to run a bit of adhesive and then we're going to line it up down here, maybe 3/4 to an inch from the bottom, somewhere in that vicinity. And I'm going to try to line it up without the Stampin' Seal Plus getting away from me. I think that's pretty good. All right. And then you'll use about 15 inches of the Pale Papaya ribbon. However, I'm going to just go ahead and wrap it from the spool. You know that I like to say that if you have the ability to do it, it saves you some. You don't waste as much of it when you're able to just tie it from the spool. So I know right about exactly how much I need. I can just see and then snip. And I give it just a little bit of a bend on the Designer Series paper, and that's so that I get a nice snug ribbon and knot once I've tied it. Alright, because I know you know what I'm talking about when You go to tie a knot and it's loosey-goosey and it just slides around. And when you do it this way, you can give it just a little tug, and as you can see, it fits snug and it's not going to slide off. So that's a handy little trick. And then just finagle your ribbon how you like. And we're going to snip the ends to clean it up here just a bit. There we go. All right. I like the way that looks. Okay, now we'll attach this to the card base. And so far, this is a pretty simple prospect, right? The project is easy, it's quick, it's beautiful. All right, grab that card base. And we're going to lay this down, make sure we've got it the right direction. And just like so. All right, there we go. And our card base is complete. Okay, so now let's go ahead and move on to the rest of this. I'm going to take my scalloped frame here, and I'm going to put some dimensionals on the back side of the stem here. And what I noticed is that I needed to take my mini dimensionals and cut them in half, just to make sure that they didn't overlap any of the leaves, because the leaves are pretty small, and in some of the places you can tell where you can go full size, but you know, a lot of these little leaves are tiny, so I just cut my mini dimensionals in half. So put one there, put one there. I'll try to do this quickly so I don't waste your time. Alright, we'll put a little skinny one up here with that stem, and then down here in the opening. And one more between those leaves down on the bottom, I think ought to do it. Alrighty. There we go. So how's everyone's week going so far? Are you doing well on a Monday? My birthday is coming up next Saturday, and I'm super excited because my husband has been laying little hints that he actually has a plan for my birthday already in motion. And normally he's kind of, well, he tells me that he has no idea what he's doing and he doesn't think about it, and then, you know, something fabulous happens that day, but I don't usually know. But this time, he's going on telling me that he actually has a plan already. So, I'm excited. All right, now, I had kind of put this stem just a little bit low, and because I had pressed it down really good, I just left it. So, I'm going to remember to bring it up just a little bit. So, I would say you're actually going to line the end of your stem with the stitching there, and that will give you plenty of room for your sentiment down here. So that's just a quick tip and a lesson learned, but that's okay. It's still beautiful. All right, and I'm going to put a big dimensional behind each of the peaches. So we'll put one there. One here, and I love how they just lay together beautifully with these dies. So cool. All right, and one more right there. Sweet. Okay, and then I want to put this entire piece on dimensionals as well. So I'm going to just bring in my big dimensionals here. Thank you for that, Miss Elaine. I appreciate it. I'll have to let you guys know next week what we did. Okay, now I'm going to put this piece right here. I'm just lining it up on each end and giving a good, I don't know, 1/2 inch or so here on the end of it. Alright, there we go. And then on the little white strip, let me bring in my Pierce mat and scrap paper. I'm going to stamp Happy Birthday in the balmy blue ink. I need birthday cards all the time, and I think this is a great little birthday card. So, there we go. And then we're going to run a bit of adhesive just on the bottom section. Well, if I can get my runner to work here. Feed it up a little bit. There we go. Just on the bottom section, and we'll layer these like a shadow. So I'm going just a little bit to the right and a little bit up, so that way it has just a nice little edge on the left and bottom, just like that. And then we're going to put this on dimension as well, and we're not going to put it so far to the right, so we'll just put it here and here. And then lay it across. That worked out so much better. Yeah, much better. See, just that tiny little bit up made a huge difference, didn't it? Okay, now let's grab our rhinestone. Oh my goodness. Rhinestones? Oh, well, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. Okay, rhinestones. We'll put one here. We'll put one here. And then another one over here. Alright, that looks good. Beautiful. Alright, now let's get to the inside and let me show you how I did the peach. Alright, so first thing is I'm going to have a peachy day and that balmy blue ink again, and I wanted to bring in a little bit of the blue so that it didn't seem so out of place. So I'm bringing in some blue from the outside. Let's just stamp that right there. Okay, and now get that out of the way. Here's my trick. I have already stamped and die cut the 2 peaches, or the 2 pieces of the peach. Oh my goodness, it is a Monday. And then I have just taken a little drop of liquid glue here and at the bottom of the leaf to attach the 2 pieces together. And I'm going to use this for another card or project, but before I do, I'm going to use it as a template for where to stamp the one that goes inside this card. Okay, so I'm going to grab my Pear Pizzazz ink and the little leaf, and let me just ink this up, and I'm going to lay this peach right about there. I think that's where I want it to go. So I'm going to line this over the top, and it looks like what I want. I'm going to bring it straight down. Now I know that's where my peach is going to go. And I want to stamp the leaf first because we're going to do some masking. So I've already pre-stamped and cut from a Post-it, and it's got the tacky on the back side. I'm going to line it up just like that. And then we need to stamp our peach. Okay, so here's how we do this. Let me get this out of the way for a hot second. I don't need that stencil anymore. And I need the Calypso Coral, Bumblebee, and Pale Papaya. And then I'm also going to need a sponge dauber for Bumblebee, and Calypso Coral. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my peach directly into the pale papaya. I'm going to take the Bumblebee dauber and just around where the line is in the middle of the peach, I'm going to daub a little highlighter. Consider that the apple of the peach, right? The rounded edge. So it's going to have a little bit there, and then just a tiny bit up this side here, and maybe along the bottom, just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to take the Calypso Coral, and I'm going to go across the top. I'm going to come down that crease line, ink up a little more, come around the edge here, and we're not actually going around the whole edge. We're just giving it colored highlights, right? Okay, and now let me get my Pierce mat back over here. And I'm keeping my mask on. Let me bring this up so you can see. All right, so the mask is there. I'm huffing on my peach, and I'm going to use the stem as a guide. And then when I pull the mask off, I have a beautifully colored peach. Isn't that terrific? Love it! All right, so for the envelope, we're going to tie in the smaller cluster of peaches to go along with the front of the card, okay? So we're going to do a similar thing, except that we don't need to mask anymore because the leafy cluster matches and lines up perfectly. So we're able to just ink up the leaf cluster, and I want to kind of turn the stem in just a little bit, so right about there. And then I'm going to do it again on the flap. Let me bring my scrap in. And this time I'm going to line the stem with the fold on the flap. So right about there. Now I can get this out of the way and bring in the little peach cluster. And I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to ink it up with pale papaya first. And now this time with the Bumblebee, I'm going to very lightly just touch it in the middle-ish of the peach. It doesn't have to be exact, of course. And then take the Calypso Coral, and you can see the little divot marks where the stem goes. So you want to focus on that being the top. So put our Calypso Coral there across the top of them. And then we're going to do just a little bit of accent in a couple of other spots. So on this corner, up that side, you get the idea. There we go. And then we can take a look and see that looks pretty darn good. Give it a little huff, and then you're going to line up the lines. You can see where the divot is for the stem, so you can use that to line up your stems and your peaches, just like that. Okay, isn't that beautiful? All right, one more time. Ink up with pale papaya. Take Bumblebee and a little dot in the middle, and then Calypso Coral to darken it up across the top, across the little spots on the bottom and side. Check it out, looks good. And line it up with the stems. Okay, there we go. Very nice. All right, there we have it. What a beautiful, peachy, happy birthday card. I love the peaches. They are so sweet, and I love doing all of the fun coloring for them. So great. And I can't wait to send these out. These are going to be terrific. All right, friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's project. I just want to say, be on the lookout in the next few days because I'm putting together a You're a Peach or Sweet as a Peach class to go. And it's going to be fabulous. It'll be available to everyone in the U.S., whether you live close to me or online, doesn't matter. It's going to be gorgeous. You're going to love it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for spending some time with me today. And until next time, my friends, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye for now.